Jews were born and raised to be entrepreneurial for thousands of years. It's led to each generation that followed learning the skills and secrets which were happily passed down by their elders. What entrepreneurial secrets do Jewish people have that generate them such an impressive income? Stick to the end of the video to learn them all. While a quarter of the Jewish population has reported an income of over $200,000, only 4% of American families earn this amount. According to the Pew Research Center, Jewish people are richer than the average income in the United States. In fact, half of all Jews surveyed reported a six-figure income, with only a third of Americans reporting the same income in comparison. Welcome, Joy Timers! Let's check the reasons why Jewish people are richer. Number 10. Jewish people have a support network. Jewish people are successful because, from a very young age, their parents prefer to keep them close to other people in the Jewish community. With everyone sharing the same beliefs, morals, and work ethics, everyone thrives on being successful. This often leads to a competitive streak among many people in the community that only fuels the passion further. Orthodox Jewish people are introduced to banks, stores, and malls from a very young age, whether they're owned by family members or just for a practical visit. Family members who do own these type of companies will often encourage the younger members of the family to learn about how business is conducted and let them take a first-row seat in the financial aspects of a successful business. Members of the Jewish community have lots of people to turn to for career advice, such as parents who may be working in a finance-based career themselves, or a rabbi who will share their knowledge and how it correlates to their beliefs. Because of this social circle, discussions about work, labor, and careers are normal and seen as crucial topics for a child's development. Number 9. Jewish people won't give up. Throughout the centuries, Jewish people have shown an unbelievable amount of resilience and perseverance. From a young age, they are taught through their religion to never give up, no matter how difficult the challenge might be. When things do go wrong in business, they get back up, dust themselves off, and start again. Perseverance is a trait many of the world's wealthiest people have. There were several times when the likes of Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos ran into problems. But because they refused to give up, they came out even stronger. To run a thriving business or be successful in the investing sector, it takes patience, hard work, and opportunity. If business was easy, then everyone would be millionaires. Like everything in life, it takes time to master a skill, but once you have, nothing will stop you. Number 8. Parents teach money management. Jewish families believe that it is crucial to teach their children about the importance of money from a very young age, refusing to shelter them from the reality of struggling to make ends meet, as well as teaching them the importance of saving and staying humble. Families do this by using the 5-jar method. The jars are labeled tithe, investing, saving, giving and offering, and spending. As money is given to the children, they distribute the funds by putting 5% in the spend jar, 10% in both the tithe and saving jars, 2 in the invest jar, and 1 in the giving and offering jar. The giving jar is opened on Sundays and offered to a good cause or families in need. The savings is open when the money is needed for something in particular. And the tithe jar is opened at the end of the month and given to the synagogue. The spending jar is down to the person's discretion, but the investment jar is only opened when full, with the money then being invested in a venture that will see a return. This method of saving is followed throughout the lives of Jewish people and is a fantastic way to manage personal finances. Number 7. Many Jews have a part-time job as well as a full-time job. According to a recent survey, 6 in 10 Jewish adults hold a full-time job, with many of those also having a part-time job to generate an extra revenue stream. Often the part-time job can be financial in nature, whether it is accounting or advising, which provides an additional fund that can be invested in stocks, assets, or real estate. It's worth stating that not all part-time jobs are for financial gain, with many Jewish people working for nonprofit organizations or volunteering within the community to help others. With such a lengthy history of fighting poverty and prejudice, many Jewish people understand that it is important to look after those less fortunate. These values have been ingrained in them from the readings of the Torah and the other sources that translate and interpret the laws. Number 6. Higher education. One of the biggest factors in Jewish people retaining and generating profits is their education. From a young age, Jews get familiar with the commandments and laws of the Torah, which contain several laws. As Jewish people learned and interpreted the laws, more detailed books were written, such as the Mishnah and the Talmud. The lessons included in these works provides invaluable skills that can be applied to finances and values. As a result of these books, many Jewish people tend to reach a higher level of literacy and numeracy, which leads to incredibly high-paid jobs and careers that are in demand. Education is important to Jewish families, which leads to many young people going on to higher education in fields that are often financial or medical in nature. Jewish people aged between 30 and 64, especially those with college or postgraduate degrees, are much more likely to be employed. Higher paid jobs will generate expendable funds that can then be invested in assets, stocks, and investments. Number 5. Urbanization. When the Jewish people were mostly exiled from the land of Israel in the 1st and 2nd centuries, many people joined together to create villages, towns, and later cities. This provided a safer place to live for the communal society, which also allowed them to properly practice Judaism. In these areas, the citizens needed several trades to make their community thrive. As time went on, the trades evolved. This included 12th century Jewish people exporting fine wool from farmers in places like Paris and bringing them as far as Egypt to sell their wares. Often they were traded for silk and spices, which could be brought back and sold for an incredible profit. This meant that many Jewish communities were ahead of the curve when it came to a thriving trade economy, with processes being perfected in the hundreds of years that followed. Number 4. Jewish people know how to invest. There's an unfair stereotype that all Jewish people are greedy, and that's how they stay so wealthy. This stereotype started way back in the Middle Ages when Jewish people were associated with having a lot of money. In truth, it wasn't easy for Jewish people to make money in the past, as they were typically restricted from taking part of economic activity and often refused when trying to purchase land. This is why many Jewish businesses of the time invested their money through high-interest crediting. Ironically, Christian rulers often hired Jewish people to invest for them, as it was prohibited by the church. Investing and taking banking career paths is still the case today, with many people in the community versing themselves in the best business practices and researching the best assets to invest in. With strong family connections and the encouragement to follow the careers of their elders, many Jewish people are taught how to conduct business from a very young age. Number 3. Good work practices. The Torah clearly states how a Jewish person should run their business, which has improved work practices across the globe due to their incredible example. The Torah states that any fraudulent or dishonest work practices are a sin, which means lying to or trying to swindle a customer is strictly against its teachings. This law is known as the oina'ah, which translates as oppression. This, of course, is a stark reminder of the oppression that Jewish people were subjected to for centuries. Treatment that shouldn't be inflicted on others, no matter their background, beliefs, or actions. It's difficult in the modern business world to know who to trust, but when you know a business is run by strict morals set forward by a higher power, the person they would be hurting the most would be themselves if they chose to implement poor or fraudulent practices. Number 2. Anti-Semitism has fueled business progression. It was the cruel treatment and anti-Semitism of the Jews that led to many of them finding success. As the New York entertainment industry shunned them and refused to work with them, many Jewish people moved to LA, where their money and skills became an invaluable asset. When it came to Jewish people looking for a career in law, it was the constant barring and poor treatment that led them to starting their own businesses. Ironically, if people had been more welcoming, then the richest Jewish families may never have found their wealth, as they would have stayed in mid-level jobs working for other firms. Number 1. Networking with like-minded people. Jewish people are brought up to be part of the community, which surrounds them with people who are all being taught the same ethics and morals. With this group mentality and strict rule to abide by, it means that everyone is on the same page and willing to put the hard work in to succeed. Making early connections has put many people in a fantastic position later on in life, as they have been building their business network before they even left elementary school. Being surrounded by like-minded people who have found success in several different areas gives Jewish entrepreneurs several companies to join forces with or allow them to find customer leads. As they already know each other or know that they can conduct business with the highest degree of honesty, there is no risk when working with them. Networking has always been a great way to advance in business. When you can trust those you're working with wholeheartedly, all focus is shifted to the project at hand and how it can generate maximum profits. Jewish people had to work incredibly hard to achieve the success they have, which didn't come without lots of hurdles along the way. They were barred from owning land, from trade guilds, and from most professions. What they could do, however, was deal with money and become merchants. Despite the difficulties, they have come out much stronger, and that is why they are some of the richest people in the world today. Do you enjoy Daily Joy Time? Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to support us and never miss out on new amazing stuff.